All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show, or really the Gentleman's Journal. This is where we prove we are, what are we? Prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And today I got my man Walt Talks with me. We also got my man Aqua Funk in the back, and we're going to bring him up. We got some other gentlemen that's going to join the panel, but when they get here, we'll let them on in the house. But what's up, Walt? How you doing, sir?
Can't call it, sir. How's everything?
Look, man, look, you can tell already I'm tired.
I see.
It's a real early morning.
I was about to sound like you had an early tea time today. Yeah, it sounded like you got to hit an early tea time. Yeah, okay.
I had a 6:20 tea time, which was really good.
6:20.
Yeah, but it was over an hour away from me, so from where I live at.
6:20.
Yeah, 6:20. We was out on the course, and which is okay. But the fact that I had to leave my house at 4:45 in the morning to get there.
6:20.
Yeah, that's yeah. So anyway, but so I apologize to anyone who's watching right now that if I seem like I'm sluggish, but it's not because I don't want to be here with you. It's just because this day started really, really early. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. And I've been fighting the back pain and all kinds of other pain. I got through the round today without stopping. I didn't have to skip any holes. I was hitting decent shots, so I'm feeling much better. So I'm grateful for that part right there. But there was rooster tails all the way up to 17.
Oh yeah, for sure. 6:20. I mean, you're a dew sweeper. You are a dew sweeper.
Yeah.
Literally a dew sweeper at 6:20.
And for those who don't know what a rooster tail is, it's just when you're on the green and you're putting the ball and the water is splashing up behind the ball, it looks like the tail off of a rooster, and that's where a lot of people get that. But we had that all the way up for 17 holes. We were fighting that on the greens. But anyway.
Now, the guys who come behind you appreciate being able to see a line.
See those lines, the lines on the green.
Appreciate, they can see the lines on the green from your ball going through the dew.
And I appreciate the people in front of me. And that was the hard part. Not the hard part, but we had a 6:20 tee time.
You weren't even the first group?
Heck no, there was 3 groups in front of us. So like they be going out early. So, but shout out to what was we at? Enterprise and PG County.
Oh man, nice track, yeah.
So Enterprise and PG County.
Golf at its
shout out to you. It was really nice. Really nice course, great conditions. If anybody remember, there's one hole that used to have these real big trees. They didn't chop those trees down. So
you know why?
Well, the type of green is what I'm hearing. The type of green and conditions.
Not just the greenway, not just the green, but the fairways. So they went to a Bermuda fairway. Yeah.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Let's get to the important piece because it seems like you stalling, man. What did you shoot?
Oh shoot, I didn't shoot that great. So that's early in the morning. I stayed in that. My normal is around the 90s, 90, 95 maybe.
All shucks. Here it comes. All shucks. Here goes all shucks. Oh,
I was right there. Well, the good thing is my youngest son, teenager, he is going to play golf this year in high school.
Oh, man, okay.
I just wanted to get him out on the course, and so it won't be the first time. He's played before. We played with him before.
Yeah.
But now he's actually playing. We played from the white tees. So he got to get lined up. He's playing with Nike golf clubs. So he's got my old Nikes, the original clubs that I had. So we haven't invested into anything else, but he was hitting the ball pretty good drives and things like that. But
this is going to be fun because I remember the day he beat you bowling. I remember how you felt. I remember how perplexed you were when you couldn't beat him bowling. And man, if he gets you on the golf course, man, we may have to put you on suicide watch.
Well, I can tell you this: he hits the ball long. So, and that's going to be it. The thing is, he don't have a short game yet. So once he learns,
he'll work on it. He'll figure it out. Yeah.
So that's and they're and we're gonna let's get Aqua Funk up here.
Aqua Funk, my man, for sure.
Yeah, let's get my man up here because we having a whole conversation without him.
Yeah. Let's get this. Let's get the guru up here, man.
Up to the stage. There he is, Aqua Funk. What's up?
The man, the myth, the legend.
100%.
Y'all was all right. Y'all talking that golf stuff. Y'all might as well be talking Swahili. I have no idea. Like y'all, I just be like, I don't know what they talking about. They could just go ahead and have that. I'm just chilling till they say something in English. I'll just be here till they talk English. Till they talk
My
American.
man.
Well, you might not understand the golf game, but you understand getting up early in the morning and
Oh
taking
yeah,
your
yeah,
kids
yeah. I
there.
understand all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
only
yeah,
the only real thing I understood was the rooster tail.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you
Cause,
go. So
'cause
yeah,
like I
glad
was
to listen.
like before we came on, I was telling Walt that I was a Harley tech,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I used to do custom bikes. I like choppers and stuff like that. I
Wow.
had a bike that didn't have a rear tail fender,
Mm.
Wow.
and I would rear front or rear fender. And I would ride in the rain, but I had to ride like
Oh
this.
man.
I had to
Yeah.
ride like this.
Yeah. Hey, look,
So
man. Probably 10 years ago, I was coming back from a roundup in Kansas City,
Uh huh.
and we cut the trip in half because it rained all the way for 2 days. But we cut the trip in half. I probably spent the night in Louisville, Kentucky,
Hmm.
and man, they had an open wheel car show in Louisville that weekend, and we were behind all these open wheel cars coming through the mountain. And bro, let me tell you something, man. It was terrible. It was safer to be behind a truck. At least the trucks had mud flaps
Yeah.
than
Yep.
mm,
some of those open wheel cars, man. So yeah, without a fender, man, I can only imagine how you rolling, man. That's a
all
Oh,
right.
yeah, you a daredevil, sir. You are a daredevil.
Mm.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
So, gentlemen, I want to welcome you both. Of course, Walt, you here, and Aqua, you family now, man. So you part
absolutely.
of the universe, 100%. But and I don't, we're gonna trip, but I received a letter, or email, from a dad, and I said, okay, and it's semi-military related, but it's dad related more than military related.
Okay.
So, and I figure, this would be a good topic for the Gentleman's Journal. We can get in there. And I believe that a lot of parents face this on a day to day basis, especially when their child gets to a certain age. So, and I know for those who out there watching, and we thank you for tuning in, we're going to ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, all of those things while you're out here. But just the heads up for them, you have not heard this story. You don't even know where I'm getting ready to come from. So,
I see the
sometimes
smile on your face,
you
though,
sit
so
on
I'm
the
sure
edge
it's
of
a
your
good
seat.
one.
It's really not a bad one. This is probably
Okay.
one of the easier ones we ever had, if you want to look
Okay.
at those type of letters. But it's just the fact that it was real. And I can see the angle this person is coming from as a parent. So I said, hey, we'll read the letter today. So let me pull it up, and we can go in. And it says, Dear Big Jack and Gentleman's Journal panel. So he already said this where he wanted to be. First, thank you. Let me say, first, thank you for what you do each week. I've been a faithful listener for a long time because your show encouraged real conversation with respect, not division, which is true.
Okay.
I say,
Okay.
I'm a father in my late 40s with an 18-year-old son who's recently graduated from high school. He's a respectful, hardworking young man who has dreams of joining the United States military for years.
Okay.
Here's my struggle. I don't want him to go.
Ah.
Please don't, please don't misunderstand me. I have utmost respect for the men and women who serve our country. Military service is honorable. I know it can open doors and build character, but when I look at everything happening around the world today, the conflicts, the uncertainty, the growth tension, I can't help but fear for my son's future. It says, My son tells me this is his calling. He wants to serve something bigger than himself, make our family proud, and build a future through military service. Part of me is incredibly proud. The other part of me is terrified. As a father, I don't I don't know if I'm trying to protect my son or if I'm letting fear stand in the way of his dreams. So I'm asking you, panel, if this was your son, what advice would you give him? And just importantly, what advice would you give me? Thank you for reading my letter. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, and I hope this conversation helps other families facing the same decision. Sincerely, a concerned father. Sorry for that. I hope I got it all through for all you. So, gentlemen, you heard the letter. There's a father, 18-year-old son, wants to join the military. I think Aqua, you probably the closest to any of us on something like this. So, if you don't mind, share with us what's going on.
All right, so I actually can help you out on both. I'm a father who's a vet who spent time in the military. And my son is currently deployed right there since day one. Since day one. And to be honest with you, I kind of always knew he was going to join. Because from being in the military, after you get out, you start seeing traits in people, civilians, that you're like, you know what?
Little soldier.
I could see you. I could see you joining. I could see you. I see you. In fact, I talked my sister into going into the military. She's a first sergeant. I think no, she's a master sergeant right now. You know, about to retire.
Right.
You know, I knew my son was gonna go in. Anyway, but as far as my son is concerned, when he went in, he's going in the Air Force, you know, so there's a certain level of comfort I have him going into the chair force. You know, that's one thing that might make you feel better is what branch he's going in. And then depending on what branch he's going in, what job field he's going in. There's a lot of misunderstanding people have about the military. Just because you join the military, that don't mean you're gonna be on the front line. You take an oath that if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. But most of the time, that's not what happens to most people. Most people are cooks. Most people are, you know, nurses, or they're writing. They're working in an office at a desk at a computer or something like that. It's the people out there on the front lines. He happens to be in a job where it puts him in danger. In fact, the three people that just passed, he was right there.
Wow.
So there's that chance that happens. It is. Was I scared? I was no more scared of him going into the military than I was where he grew up, to be honest with you.
Right. Wow. Okay.
But I knew that where he grew up, there was no future. So if he was going to take a chance, I'd rather him had take a chance at in the military. Plus, I knew what I created. I knew what I molded. And I had faith in him that he was going to go keep his head on a swivel, you know, check all his blind spots. And he got a good head on his shoulders. I trust him. Now, granted, he can't take care of all scenarios, but whatever scenarios he can handle, he's going to be able to do. He's going to be able to handle them to the utmost of his ability.
So,
yeah,
I'm gonna cut you.
Go ahead.
So, if this was your, because we got the concerned father, if this was your son coming to you with this question or statement, Dad, I want to join the military, would you say?
I would go down. I would ask him why. What is it? How long you been thinking about it? And on top of that, I would let it percolate for a little bit. Give it some time. If you still feel this way in 6 months, I'll go with you. Let's go. Right. You know, but from now until those 6 months pass, we're gonna be doing our research. We're gonna be finding out what really is gonna happen. You know, we're gonna be talking to people. Partly for him, making sure he's making the right decision, and for the parent. That's the best thing I think you can do. The best thing I think you should do for your kid, honestly, is make sure he's prepared that he's making the right decision. I mean, you know, it's not all TV. It ain't all TV.
No, it's not. And I want to say thank you for your service. So I definitely make sure we put that out there. And thank you for your son's service, because he is actually active and even overseas in a conflict right now, or even a war. As a matter of fact, not even a conflict, it's actually
a war.
But Walt, you have any thought pattern? I know you don't have the
Yeah,
son to
man.
give to you, but
Both
your
of you guys
daughter.
are vet. Both of you guys are vets. So
Yeah, thank you too.
I salute you for that.
I keep
And
forgetting. Keep thinking
hey,
about
man.
football.
Hey, man. I salute you guys for that. But as far as the father goes, he's 40. I guess about 38. He's 20 years older than the son. So he's 40. You said, and his son is 18. So he's 22
His
years.
son is 18, just graduated high school, and he's
And
in
this
his
guy's
late 40s. He said
he's in
so.
his
That's
late 40s. Okay, so he's old
yeah,
enough to remember when this thing was done the right way without getting too far into
Yeah,
this whole
yeah,
politics of it, right? But
right,
even
yeah,
right,
today, even this morning, the Pentagon is reclassifying the deaths of the people who just died.
right, right.
So it
Yeah,
doesn't look like they died in war, which is a problem. So this guy, just like me, I'm old enough to remember when you didn't play games with people's lives. So I would suggest, the kid has his mind, the young man has his mind made up. I would suggest wherever he's located, and hope he's listening. I'm pretty sure he is. That talk to some real people in the military. And I'm not talking about the recruiter who has something to gain from him joining. I mean, let your son talk to some real live veterans. Maybe go over to the hospital, to the VA, and see the after effects of war and just not even just war, but being deployed or just being in the military. Just,
yep,
that's the thing, because it's not all glory and fame.
yeah,
And if you think about it, the movies are designed to do that. And I'm going to use the Forrest Gump movie with Lieutenant Dan. He was hell bent
yep,
on getting, going out ahead in the line of duty. And unfortunately, this guy's on the fire department. I was a firefighter for 28 years. They think that that is the most honorable thing to do, is to die in the line of duty. And I'm not taking away anything from people who die in the line of duty, but the thing is, man, to get home to your family. That's the thing. And so you got to have a perspective. You got to have a total perspective and context of what it means. Because I think right now it's kind of like, in this day and time of video games and all of that, it's like it's sexy, it's glorified,
yeah.
and we know that that's not the case, man. So again, man, if he's going to do it, he can do it. He's legal, but the father, two things can be true at the same time. The father probably is just, well, not probably, he is old enough to remember how this thing should be
Mm,
done. And we have never seen this thing done like this, even changing it to the Department of War, the whole 9 yards. I mean, just crazy, man. So, you know, I think that he's going to have to talk to his son. They need to talk to some folks. And he needs to be aware, because the recruiter's going to, I ain't got to tell you, you guys went through the recruiter. The recruiter's going to sell you a bag of dreams, man. And
mm-hmm.
that's his job, but he needs to see the end result. He needs to have a plan and prepare himself to do whatever. And like you say, no matter what he does, how many pieces of paper he pushes, at the end of the day, when it's time to put a rifle in your hand and go, that's what we are training you to do. Am I right?
that
Right.
part is true.
And even in
100%.
the Air Force, which you know, it seems safe, but hey, man, you still have 4 years of your life is not your own.
Yep.
You're at will. Depending on what you write on the test is going to determine a lot of things. So there's just a lot of variables, and he needs to be well aware of all of them, because, like you said, man, the recruiter will have you believing it's all fun and games, and it's not. So
Well, and that is true. And they're not speaking ill against the recruiter, because they have a
not at
job.
all, no.
Their
But I mean,
job
that's his
is
job. I mean, that's his
their
job.
job is
Yeah,
to get people in, and they want the right people. So they're
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
filter out as much as possible. And I appreciate both of y'all making a comment or saying, to
Mhm.
do your homework and study it, because it is. I mean, it's like, any other job out there. It's not like, and I hear it bothers me a lot when people say, I just joined for the college, or I just joined. Like, if you really want to go to college, then go to college. That's where you go. Not join the military to go to college. Now, they do have a benefit where they
Yeah,
could, pay for your education or pay for some of your education and things like that. But like you say, they're not training you to go to school. They're not
yeah,
training you to go to college. They're
yeah,
training you to go to battle. I mean, when you go through basic training and you learn all the weaponry and the qualifying in the rifles and all that other stuff, it is not so that you can get out of here and go to college. It's to get out here, and if there's a conflict, you're going to be, you could be on the front lines. There's only 2 or 3 jobs in the whole service that don't have to ever carry a weapon. And that's, so there's only, it's very limited on the people who don't have to worry about firing a weapon. But everybody else, yes, 100%. You need to qualify, you need to be ready, and you never know you're going to be called on. And that's regardless what branch of service you in. So all the branches out there, like I say, and I appreciate you saying that, Aquafunk, because that was always my one. It's like, go military. You'll never see them over there and hear Aquafunk saying, Big Jack, you wrong, because my son is right there. And you knew they went, but like I say, if you wasn't a pilot, the chances you seeing conflict when you're in the freaking Air Force are slim to none. But here we go, they're right there. So that debunked my thought, my mental, because I'm Army, I'm U.S. Army.
Me too.
I can't tell you what the Air Force do. I can tell you what I saw when I was over there, and what I saw was they were so far behind. We ain't worried about them getting into anything. But if you're anywhere across seas or anywhere, there's a chance, because they're especially with these drones and things like that, they're dropping everywhere.
But not just that, man. Okay, so let's go back, because I'm old enough to know this. From Vietnam to Desert Storm, that was no war. There were no wars. Am I correct? Was it Desert Storm?
Yes, I'll go with that.
I think from Vietnam to Desert Storm, right? Yeah, but nothing. Right. But so the military did a great job of selling. Come get your college education. Come get a skill set. Come do all of these things. Am I right? I mean, that's the way it was. It was marketed.
Yeah.
I mean, we had delayed entry. We had buddy program, the whole 9 yards. So all I know is this. You can't legislate morality. So the times have changed. We are in a different world, and people need to understand that, hey man, this is not a game. And like I lived like blocks, 2 blocks, a block from Walter Reed. So when all those guys from the old Walter Reed, before they moved to the new Walter Reed, so I used to see the vets at the 7-Eleven, at the corner store, at the CVS, going up and down Georgia Avenue with missing limbs. I used to have these conversations. I've seen these guys, some of them drinking on the streets right there on Georgia Avenue, even on the 16th Street side, but mostly Georgia Avenue because it was close to the hospital. And these guys maybe get picked up for disorderly because they have been through some things and may or may not have been getting the help that they need. And then if you follow the story, I can't remember which president it was who visited Walter Reed, and then they closed that after that big national news story, and I can't remember who broke it. So all I'm saying to you, man, is to the father, all of these things are at play. You have to consider the whole thing. And for the father, hey man, both things can be true. And I'm sure he may have done some things his parents didn't agree with that he had to do. And you don't want your son growing up with regrets, but you just, once he has all the information, he makes the decision. And that's what it is. But you got to think, man, we've done very well convincing people that, and here's the thing, it's coming from a guy who's never been in the military. Let's be clear about that. All this bravado is coming from a guy who's never been in the military. Can we agree with that? So without getting into the politics of it, so you just got to consider the source, man. And you got to know, war is not a game. War is not a game. Maybe he ought to go play Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, play that whole What's Going On album for him. And that can probably walk him through what was going on in the 70s, and things haven't changed much. So.
No, and again, nowhere in the letter that, a person, he's saying his son wants to join to go fight. You know what I'm saying?
No, but that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal. Yeah.
But some people want to join for that. They know we have a big conflict. They want to go to the conflict.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was in that situation with. I'm stationed in Fort Stewart, Georgia. Somalia was kicking off, and I pretty much say I volunteer. I'll go. I'm going to Somalia. And they like, no, you're not going. I'm like, wait a minute, I want to go to Somalia. What's the problem? And they say, well, you got orders to Korea. And I'm like, there's no conflict in Korea. The conflict is Somalia. You need people to go to Somalia. And but with all of that being said, my orders were to Korea, and I took my orders to Korea. And it was wild because, and I look the difference. I was married with children, and I still was volunteering to go to a conflict. So it's like, I don't know why at that time. It wasn't trying to get away from a family, but at the same time, you don't think about that part of it. You think that we're an elite force and we're the best in the world and this and that. And going to Somalia was and what I'm saying by that, that's a mindset. That's how
but you have to have that. And back to my point earlier, you have to have that mindset. So if he's saying he's not going, if he's not thinking I'm going to war, you definitely have a bigger problem, because now you're really confused about what it is. Same thing with the fire department. Oh man, guys, he's up in such and such. He's up in the such and such battalion. They don't run any fires. Well, hey man, fires burn everywhere. Oh, this guy's a volunteer. Hey man, fires burn. It's a science, like war. It's a science. When this thing goes off, you need to be ready to go. And understand this, the part you're talking about, Jack, to be proficient at anything, you have to do it. So you kind of want the action. I mean, it's the same way with the fire department. You kind of want the action, and I get it.
I actually joined because I wanted to get away from my family. I was just sick and tired of them. I need to get away. I want to get away from my girlfriend. I want to get from my brothers, my roommate, all of them. And I was hard-headed. I was very I wanted to test myself. I wanted to see if I could put myself up against. So I wanted to do something and be like, can I live through this? It's that simple. You know what I mean? I wanted that. I do got something to say. If there's a gentleman who wrote the letter. If you are looking for some way to postpone your son from joining, to do some more research and all that, I can tell you from experience, it's hot. He don't want to be going out there in the heat right now. He don't. Tell him wait to the fall. Wait till the fall. He don't want to be in basic training, boot camp, none of that in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Secondly, study up on that test so you get the best score you can, so you can pick. You got a bigger opportunity to pick your job.
100%.
So you tell him, hey, let's hold off for 6 months. Let the weather get better so you ain't burning up, sweating, chafing everywhere. There is chafing. There's a lot of chafing involved, a lot of Vaseline. And you study up on that test so you can better your odds of getting a better job.
Matter of fact, and I appreciate that, Akko, because that is good advice. And if he's 18 years old and you can help him maybe get into a community college or something like that, have him take a couple of classes, because then he'll go in with rank, not just going in as a buck private. He can go in there maybe as a second E2 or E3 based on how much college credits he can get. And that would help a lot. I mean, so there's things that you can do to, come up with a plan. He is 18 years old. So if he decide, I'm done. Now, here's a difference with that too. And I was going to throw this out there with you because, right now, because of the, the ACA, a kid can be on your benefits until they're 26. Right. So to say I'm 18, I can do what I want. It's like, well, you really still riding my benefits. How old are you at 18? But this time they won't be on your benefits because they can go on their own. But I'm not saying is that what this because he said this kid, his son, been wanting to do this for a while. So, maybe ROTC in high school we don't get all of those extra details, and maybe we can get that. But if he had been in ROTC for 4 years and say, hey, as soon as I get out, I'm going into the military, that's some of that is I've studied, I've looked into it, I've got this thing. It don't say that. I'm just assuming.
I'm thinking the kid already knows. He already got his mind made up. I think the kid already. You could talk him into changing his mind for 6 months, probably with the summertime and the thing. But I think he's on his way. Personally, I think he's on his way. I think that letter's more for the father than anything else.
Oh, he said that. That. So go ahead, Walt.
So to your point, I'm old enough to remember, hey, when you're 18, you're out of here. Mm-hmm. It's a wrap. You are out of here, and you hear that probably like from 10, maybe 12. So I don't know this guy's story. I don't know his background, but I'm wondering, could it be possible also that, because this guy's 40, he may have heard that, he may have been saying that thing.
A little bit old school.
Now a little bit. And then his son is thinking, I'm going in the military because he feels like he has to go do something. And maybe there could be some guilt about that. Maybe it backfired. Maybe he was hoping he would go, be an astronaut, and instead the kid is like, well, I'm going in the military, because 18, I got to get out of here. I got to make my own way. I mean, which is like a thing of the past now, man, because it's like, it's like these kids now, like, who leaves home with your finished basement, your own suite, your own bathroom,
no bills
to go live in a 1-bedroom apartment,
$2,000,
on the other side of town,
Right.
So I mean, it's like it's a lot, man. But I wonder if the father, it'd be interesting to have a conversation with him if we could. Did he give him that for 20 years or 10 years, and then the best plan the kid had was going in the military? Where does he live? Because let's be clear about this. There are some kids, as bad as the military sounds to the person as far as going to war, there's some kids that, hey man, that may be a safe place in their mind, right? From depending on the background, where his friends are, what's going on in his community. So without proper context, we don't know. But I will say, man, it is just once he thinks it through, it's fine. And then of course, I got to put my bid in for the hey man, have him look at his local fire department, man. I'm telling you, you get a lot of action. Checks all the boxes. You get to serve your community. You learn a lot. You have a lot of fun, and you make an incredible living. So, and you can get all, and you can do that in the military. Because the military has a fire department, just like they have a police department. So just look into all of that, man. Just don't go in just looking to. But that Call of Duty is vicious, man. That Call of Duty video game, it's got you want to go shoot up the world, and that may not be your calling, man. So.
I was going to ask you that question, and both of y'all was that, will we still be having this conversation if he said he wanted to be a fireman or a police officer?
I would have that conversation with him, because that's another job you can't do for the money. If
you
come to the fire department for the money, then you're going to have a problem.
I would have more. I think for me, I would have more issue if even at a young age, if they gave me the option, I would feel like the safer bet would be the military. 100%, I would feel like the safer bet would be the military. Just the idea of running into a burning house, or it scared the hell out of me, And as far as the police, I'm be 100%. Y'all listen. I think what you will about me. I couldn't be no cop. If somebody was like, oh, like, just let me slide. I'm not gonna look over there if that pile is gone. You know what I mean? It might be gone. I might be like, oh, just put that in my pocket. I might be a dirty cop. I don't know what to tell you. It's just the truth. I might take a bribe. I'm just saying. And then I end up in jail. You don't want to go to jail as a cop.
You don't want to do that.
So I was like, I'm not even gonna tempt myself.
But shout out to the police officers, and let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because as a firefighter, the thing between us and the police officers, and I had plenty of relatives and friends who were police officers. Hey man, 10 more points, you could have been a firefighter. You know what I mean? 10 more points on the test, you could have been a firefighter.
I
but
tell
the
you
two
what,
jobs, but the two jobs that I did not want, I want to be a firefighter my whole life, but the two jobs that I had an opportunity to apply for that I never wanted to do was the police department and corrections. And
Yeah,
Jack, I think you checked both of those boxes
yeah, I got them
because
both.
one, I couldn't stand to be confined as much, and two, my sense of fair play just wouldn't let me be a police officer. As far as there's not a lot of gray area, there is, but there isn't a lot of gray area when you're dealing with the law, so to speak.
oh,
So that was my thing. But man, I salute those guys because the relatives I have who are police officers, that's not an easy job, and it's a thankless job. But there's a job that you can't do for the money. You cannot look, man. There's not enough money. The police department, the fire department, the military, any other thing,
Correction.
being a lineman, Jack, up on
Yeah,
that high tension wires. There's nothing anyone can pay you. There's not enough money anyone can pay you to lose your life. You're basically saying, what is your life worth? So you
mm,
have to be passionate about what you're doing. If it doesn't bring you purpose, passion, or peace, why bother it? If it's not your passion, man, leave it alone because people like that, not only will they get themselves hurt, they will get you hurt as the
mm.
co-worker. So
And the
and
thing
Alpha
about
Funk, man, you're not going to jail, man. I know better than that. I know
no,
you would. I
yeah,
know you wouldn't do that,
because
man.
I'm
it's a,
slick. That's why they never catch me. They'll never catch me.
yeah. That was
Says
one of my
says nobody. Says everybody who's in jail for
that's
being
sitting in
slick.
there. Yeah, yeah. So and then Walt, you threw it out there. So in the military, I was a military police. So I was actually
Mm-hmm.
military police. I was never a civilian police officer, but I was a civilian correction officer. So when I came out the military, that was my first job was corrections, and I like corrections better than I like being a military police because of the wishy-washy. Because, like I say, I pull a traffic stop. I got a traffic stop, all right, and I pull him over and I say, okay, I got Aquafunk in the car. He's E2, da da da
Mm-hmm.
da. They like throw the book at him.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And I got
belligerent.
Walt Talks, and he's a major, and they like, all right, let him go. And I'm like, wait a minute, they
Yeah,
both did the
They
same
both
crime.
did the same thing.
But all
Yeah.
we're looking at is the rank, and we're gonna let
Yeah.
a higher
yeah,
rank person who could pay the
Mm-hmm.
ticket
Right.
go and then come down. And that was one of my biggest issues,
Yeah.
100%. So when I got into corrections, and I'm in the corrections, like all y'all in here, and I said none of y'all in here for skipping Sunday school. So I don't have to look at you no different. I don't treat you, it was just like,
mm.
I said you was a man when you came, and you're gonna be a man when you
And
leave,
when you
as far
leave
as
here,
I'm
yeah.
concerned. And that
Right.
was it. I didn't look at it. I didn't know what anybody was in for. I would never look into their records, and I could pull it up and see.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know because it wasn't my job to worry about what you was here for and to
Mm-hmm.
rank you off of what you did. So I'm gonna treat you different because you was a child predator. Then I'm gonna treat this person who's a 3-time murderer. No,
Mm-hmm.
no one's in here for skipping Sunday school. That's how I used to always say to them. And because of that, the inmates that I had to deal with respected that because they
Sure.
knew I was going to be the same no matter who came up to my desk, no matter who came across me. I was going to give them the same across the up and down. So anyway,
That's the program. That's the
yes,
program. And people respect the fact that you respect the program. And that's the thing. And it's cat and mouse anyway, man. I mean, same thing with the police department. Like this thing with with I don't know where this came from because everybody's telling, even the mob guys, oh man, I ain't no snitch, I ain't no snitch. Everybody's snitching. So whoever tells the first story, I mean, like I come from an era where guys coming home from 30 years because they didn't talk, because they didn't throw their friends under the bus. But that's a whole different era. That's a different that's a lifetime away. Also, as far as crime goes, who in their right mind will commit crime in this day and time when you record it everywhere?
all these damn
Your
cameras.
phone, your locations, everything's on camera. And then not only that, the police would tell you, hey man, all they got to do is listen to the local rap songs because they putting it all on wax or on tape. And they on YouTube or Instagram. All I gotta do is look, man. If I watch your Instagram page, if you're a young guy, I can watch your Instagram page. and I can tell two things about you. You're either a stupid criminal or you're a liar.
Mhm.
One of
Yeah.
the two. You're either a liar or a stupid criminal. So either you are making incredibly stupid decisions with extreme confidence, or you're a liar. And that's all it is, man, because there's no in between. If you
Mm.
go put your life or your alleged life online. And as far as the military, there's things that what he needs to understand, the young man, there's things that you can't do. You are falling into a system. There's a military standard, was it
Yeah.
justice
Code of military justice.
code of military justice.
Hmm.
So you can't go in there. You're not thinking for yourself. You become a unit. You become one of many. And the fire department is that way, the police department that way, but the military more so because we don't have time to question or answer your questions while we're going down in this foxhole or going down in this whatever, taking this hill. Am I right? Go ahead,
You're right.
Alfred.
In fact, let me add to that because I was surprised. I was surprised. Jack, you said you was married when you joined the military, the army.
I
Okay.
wasn't married when I joined. I was married when I tried to go to Somalia.
Okay. So
yeah.
I was surprised at the fact that when you're in the military, and Walt just brought it up, you ain't your own man
Oh no.
as a single soldier, especially not if you're not an NCO.
No.
You know what I mean? If you're an E1, E2, E3, E4, you're kind of like, you know what? We'll let you. E1, E2, E3, you pretty much treat it like damn near like a child. Where you going? You got to be here at this time. Where you
Yeah.
at? You can't go here. You can't go there. So yeah, there is a huge downside. It's not like the fire department or the police department where when you off, you off. You ain't never off in the military.
No.
For 4 years, actually 8, to be honest with you, but 4 active years, if you sign up for 4, you ain't never off.
No.
There's no,
Yeah, being essential, man. And then let's go the other way. Corrections. For me, Jack, you were locked up. You just got to go home, but you were still locked up. Man, I couldn't stay punished. Look, man, let me tell you something, man. I'm 62 years old. Hey, man, I'd rather get a beating any day than get punished for a week.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, man, that was a killer.
Yeah.
Can't go
That
outside.
was an easy call.
Yeah, people who I don't like taking orders. I don't like taking people telling me what to do. The military, going to prison, the police department, the fire department. I mean, these are even those are paramilitary organizations. So here's the thing, man. If you think living in your parents' house is a pain in the neck, hey man, and you think the military is your answer, and that's why you're going in the military, you need to think again. If you've given it some thought and you have educated yourself on the ways of the military and what comes with that, even in today's time, this temporary, all things change. Hey man, we need a strong military, 100%. So I just, again, for the dad, man, just make sure he's doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you are talking to him for the right reasons and not because your own insecurities or you're projecting your insecurities onto him. And that's what it is, man. But be thankful. I mean, if you want to look at the bright side of it,
yeah,
just be grateful that he is doing something. That he wants to do.
He wants to do something.
He wants to do something.
And he came to you. He came to you
and he came to you because he didn't have to. Because I know a guy, I know a guy who left football practice and went and joined the army.
Oh yeah. I heard about that dude because he got pissed off.
Yeah, he got pissed off. Didn't want to do the 40-yard sprint or something, man. Didn't want to get up and watch the purple sky at 4:30, 5 o'clock. The same guy, the same guy who got up at 4 o'clock this morning to go play golf.
Yeah, he could do 2
Tell me
days.
about this guy, Jack. Tell me about this guy.
If I want to get up at 4 o'clock to do what I want to do, then I'll do that. I'm not going to get up to 4. No. So, yes, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
How did it go? Just refresh my memory.
What?
If I wanted to get up at
6
4
o'clock every morning, I'll join the military.
And the guy said,
replied, join the military. And I
you
walked
said,
right off the field. went straight to the recruiter, and I joined the military.
You
You
fixed
showed
him.
him.
You showed him, man. You
But you know
showed
what?
him.
But look, whoa. I don't regret none of the time I
No.
served.
Yeah.
No,
None of
no,
the
let me
time.
explain something to you. Let me explain
Yeah.
something to you. It all worked out in your favor.
Oh,
It
yeah.
probably needed to be done, and that's a blessing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the moment you told your parents, I just left school, and your father I knew personally was my mentor and called me big dummy, I don't know how many times. So the moment you said to them, yeah, I didn't want to practice early, the coach said, if I told him what I told him and he told me what he said what he said, and I went and I left and went and joined the army. And your son tells you that, I mean, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years later, great idea, but are you really going to tell him that's a good idea, son?
No, and I'm gonna tell you this for me. Um, I had been in, that was my second school. So I remember I left Virginia Tech to, so I've been making some bad decisions.
Okay.
It just worked out. It worked out in my favor. And
Sure
that's where, they say God protects the innocent and the young. So I was probably,
I thought it was babies and fools, but go ahead. We'll go with
we're
innocent
gonna
and
go
the
with that
young.
one. So we're gonna say babies and fools. So I was a fool. So and let's recognize real quick. So I've done some foolish things. So that transfer from one school to another was probably one of the foolish things because I wanted more playing time. So a lot of moves I was making was selfish moves. It was for me, all about me. I wasn't even thinking past, and it's me. It is me. So, but I wasn't thinking past. But you're getting a free education at this university, blah 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 blah. You should stick it out because you're getting the education. But at the same time, you don't think about that. You're only thinking the now. You're not thinking tomorrow. You're not thinking next week, next month, next year. You're only thinking that day. So when you're waking up that morning, and I was probably more thinking the pain that was going through my hand because we're practicing at 6 o'clock in the morning in the middle of November when it's cold outside in the hills of West Virginia up on the top of the mountain. And now I'm sitting there like, had this been 2:30 p.m., I wouldn't have had my hand hurt or whatever because the sun would have been out. You don't think about that. And now you're just looking at the coach like, why you have me out here? And you're also looking around like, why am I here? Because these are bad moves that put me sometimes in this situation. Even though it worked out for my good, it wasn't the best moves. So now
you made the best of it. You made the best out of all of it.
So now we're going back again to the dad and the son. No time did any one of my parents, my mother or my father, stop me from making my move. This is your move. This is what you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to live with the ins, the outs, the ups and downs that come from this. We will always be there to support you. We will always be there to talk with you and all this other stuff. But these are moves you're going to have to make. These are things you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Look, this story gets even worse if you want to get into worse because I joined the military, right? I joined the military, went on in, I'm serving, blah, blah, blah. And then I said I wasn't married when I went in, but I was married when I was trying to go to Somalia. I got married, but my parents wasn't there.
Oh man, this guy.
They didn't meet her. None of that stuff. Because I was serving. This is my life, and my mom is in the chat now. She's down there. My uncle, my aunts, they can tell you. So I was just making moves on me. I wasn't making moves on everybody else and this and that. And the thing is, the military, I can tell you what it did. If nothing else,
it matured you.
It matured me.
Yeah.
It gave me now I don't have that freedom to say I'm not going to do it. Oh, you're going to do it, and you started respecting people off of their rank alone because they're elders, because they're this, because they're that. Like I said, you don't even have to like the person, but you will respect the rank.
Yeah.
And when you got that going on, it's like, all right, I'm just going to do it. And it's not that you don't have a mind anymore, not that you don't have an opinion, but it's like nobody asked you your opinion. Nobody really cared what you think. We're telling you to get in that hole or dig that hole or do whatever. And guess what? You're going to do it.
They want their opinion and give it to you.
Until your time is up. So, had I had that same thing at Virginia Tech, I would have did the 4 years. But see, that's a problem that's going on now. because of with the portals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No one's sticking around past 1 year. They're just jumping all over the place. I'm gonna do this and that, and we glorify it. We say, hey, that's a good thing. No different in. I mean, I know we're talking all over the place, but no different than LeBron going to now the 76ers. All right, what was that move for? You took a 30-something $1 million pay cut to go to a team to sit. I mean, what was that move?
What do you think it's for?
Is he ring chasing?
So do you think he's going to Philadelphia because he's not looking for another ring?
Yeah, no.
Do you think he's going to Philadelphia because he doesn't think he can get another ring there?
I think he can.
So that's my point. So that's what he's doing. So
he's chasing rings.
So sometimes in life, and trust me, you have made some bad decisions, and Lord knows I have too. I'm amazed that I'm still here.
I have,
but yeah, and you a liar and your feet stink. But at the end of the day, man, you know what it all comes down to sometimes is it seemed like a good idea at the time. That's all you got. Yeah. It seems
we got to make sure we say hello to the food stamp side of the show. For all those people who are trapped on the food stamp side, we say hello to you all just so I make sure I recognize Niecy Jackson out there. She says she's in the food stamp side of the show. So welcome, Niecy. How you doing? All right, Walt, I'm sorry.
Niecy. No, that's it, man. I mean, so we all make those decisions, but, you know, the good thing, Jack, you know, I kind of followed your track because, you know, your father was my OG, and but he never ever thought that you wouldn't pull out of whatever you decided to do, because you were built like that. You know what I mean? You may not. You always, once you said this is what I'm going to do, you know you did it until maybe something else came along, but you still you did your thing. I got all the juice out of this. It's not what I thought. I'm going to do this other thing. So I give you that, man. I give you that. So yeah.
Let me throw something else up. Go ahead. Let me throw something else out there real fast before I forget. But to the gentleman, the father, you know, at one point I think somebody said, are you keeping him back from something that he's meant to do? Or like the kid feels like that's what he's meant to be. So when I joined. Like I said, I joined because I wanted to get away from my roommates, my brothers, my girlfriend. I did not know that the Army infantry, was where I was born to be. I did not know that. When I showed up, I never felt so natural in my life. From the attitudes that the people held, you know, this whole, you know, just the mindset, the way people talk to each other, the way people respected each other, the way people worked with each other to get something done. I never felt so natural in my skin than I was in the military, in the infantry. When I left the service, even to this day, I feel like something's different, something's wrong.
You're missing something, because it provided that thing for you that you needed. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. I get that.
To this day, I feel like, you know, I do a job. I feel like I'm gonna do this, but it's not really me.
What made you not stay for make a career out of it?
I was married at the time, and she hated the military. Made my life a living hell.
That's mine. That was mine right there.
Made my life a living hell. She didn't want to do nothing. Didn't want to go pack. Didn't want to go to finance. Didn't want to go nothing. Didn't. So not only that, but physically, it was putting a toll on my body, and I only wanted to do the infantry. I'll be 100%. When I got out, I got offered to do to be a nasty girl, and there was like, because I still had a month.
Time out, flag on the play.
National Guard. National Guard.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, whoa, man, what are we doing here? Yo, what?
I was lost.
Hey, man, hey, Jack. I'm like, oh, man, somebody's going to HR. We don't even have HR.
That's what they call them. When I was in, they was like, yeah, you don't be, because, you know, when you go to basic training, the reserves, the regular Army, and National Guard, they all go to basic training together. They like, oh, you're a nasty girl, because they was National Guard. But anyway, I had a month in, so I still had my uniform and all that. They was like, well, you're still technically in the military. You still got a month. We would like for you to join, the National Guard after you done with your enlistment. It was deferred, whatever. So I was like, all right, I'll go to one of their drills. And it was not the place for me. I did not feel natural. I felt natural being in the infantry, regular Army infantry. So the son saying that he feels like that's where he needs to be. The father, he might be right. He might be right. That might be where that might be his calling.
No,
that's true too.
That's legit.
That could be.
I mean, again, as a father, like I said, we can be selfish, and you were looking out for the welfare of your child. You want them to be, you want to protect them, but at the same time, you want them to spread their wings and do their thing. And again, so talking to the father, for those who are trying to figure out what the heck is going on, so we had this conversation today. We did get a letter in from a dad in his mid to late 40s, has an 18-year-old son who decided he wants to join the United States military. He hasn't even picked a branch. He just said the military. So, and the dad is more asking advice from the panel on almost how to feel, because his son wants to go in, but he said he respects the military. He's proud of his son, but he also has that fear that in this time, this day of age, today, this year, all the stuff that's going on, conflicts around the world, he fears for his son. And that's legit. That's legit. You respect that. But at the same time, he's 18 years old. Do you let him become I don't want to say you're going to become a man, because it could be a female could be in the military. 18 is it's not about that. But letting them do the things that they have that desire to do, because there is a time limit on it. So you can't wait till you're 35. No, you're too late. So you have
low testosterone. You never know.
Yeah, you have the time between 18 and 35 to join the military. So that's the actual time zone to do it. But with all that being said, you silly, man. You silly.
This guy, man.
But we want to thank Frederick Jackson for being out there. He's an
OG himself.
OG from the Gentleman's Journal, come up on the stage. Now Aqua Funk got people putting in the chat nasty girls. So that's
man.
So that's but we not disrespecting the National Guard. They're definitely an important part of it. They do the work that a lot of people don't want to do. So we thank our National Guard.
One week in a month, 2 weeks out the year.
1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. But
when
there's a storm or something like that happens, a big flood in the area, we call on our guard to come out and say, hey, we need you filling up sandbags. And matter of fact, when they was in Washington, D.C., they were doing police calls. A police call is just walking the streets, picking up trash and all that other stuff that you think, that's somebody else's job.
They're still in D.C.
They're still in there. They're still out there.
Still around. I saw them yesterday morning. Yeah, they're still around, 4 to 4.
They're still out there.
I also got to add that right now, my life at 50 years old, my life, I'm still benefiting from the military.
Oh, yeah.
So, the father, you might have a lot of Call of Duty biases also. You know what I mean? Start thinking about your son's future when he's 50 years old. His all the benefits that he can get. Your son, I feel good. Like my son, I told my son, hey, you're going to Italy. Oh, is that Cam Jam? Oh man, who let Cam Jam in there?
Cam Jam. Yeah, let them make their own choice. It's probably not the best one. My nephew is in the Navy. It's a lot of stress for the family, and it can be. It can be. Definitely when we have real conflicts going on. A lot of people have problems.
So I'm still benefiting. In fact, my life is really on the upswing because of the decision to join the military. So as a father, you gotta think of that too. He, in my personal opinion, in this day and age that we live in, I don't know where he lives at, but I knew where I lived at. My son was at just as much as risk, where in Newport News, Virginia, than he is right now, actually.
Okay. You mean just from the streets?
Yeah.
Trying to avoid the streets. Yeah.
And the thing is, another part with that, Aqua, and you making good points there too. The big thing right here, and this is something that I'm thinking about. You have a choice.
Yeah.
You could be in some countries where 18-year
Yeah,
old is
yeah.
just there
You
is no
got to
choice.
go. Time
You're
to go.
joining. That's just part
Yeah,
of the you turn 18, you join. And only here in the United States where you turn 18, you got to sign up for selective service. Now that's
yeah,
as a male, that is a requirement. So
yeah.
don't miss that because that can mess up all kinds of other things.
It does. As a
But
recruiter, it
but
messes you
yeah,
up.
but you don't have to, right now there's no draft anything, even though we've had those things in our time,
Hmm.
but we're not there now. So here he has a choice. So if he makes the choice and you have a choice and it's a contract and you're signing up for 3 years or 4 years, and anything can pop off in the 3 and 4, so don't get me wrong on that.
Hmm.
But you're not signing a 20-year deal or whatever. You're signing a 3 or 4 year deal. And if you really like it, you keep on signing. And if you really don't, you get on out. And then that's where, and you are always going to be listed as a veteran. You always,
Right.
some of the benefits that come with being a veteran and all of that you get
Respect.
because of your time in. It is possible that you can be sitting on somebody's foreign country or foreign land in a conflict. But
Hmm.
that's no matter who's in office. It
Yeah.
Right.
does not matter
Yeah.
who's in office that
Yeah.
can happen. So it's
Yeah.
not about administration. I remember when I was in field artillery when I first went in 24th Infantry Division, and the big thing with that was we were rapid deployment. So
Yep.
our thing was within 48 hours, we would be anywhere in the world within 48 hours. So when CNN would put something on and you see so and so popped off, we already knew we was going back getting shots because we was getting ready to go somewhere.
But
Water.
let me say this, man. You're right. No matter who's in office, we have never seen it glorified with this level of reckless abandon, at least in my lifetime.
No, no,
And
I'm not
that's
gonna
that
do that.
and that's the thing right there, is that part. So, you know, again, man, the guy's got to make his own decision. It's not something to be taken lightly. Nobody should be glorifying war,
Yeah.
but understand it's a necessary evil of life. And also, I'll go back to my earlier point, go visit the VA.
Mm,
Go see some veterans. Go see what happens 40 years down the road, 50 years down the road, 20 years down the road. I mean, all the guys who came home from Vietnam, with the cancer thing, with the Agent Orange, from the Agent Orange. So just all of these things, man, have long term, often unintended consequences. And all I'm saying is just be mindful of all of that. And to
You
the
know.
to the dad, man, just
Mm.
at that point, you got to be okay with, if he makes a decision based on all the facts, he made a decision. He's got to live on that, and that's all he asked for. I'm guessing the father asked for from his parents,
Yeah.
and as a young man, I'm saying he can't ask for more than that. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah.
okay.
So
All right. Look, hey, gentlemen, I know it was a great show for me.
Mm.
And I'm looking at it. It says, was
man,
it
it's been
Claudia? She say my brother was in Vietnam, and I'm sure he died directly from Agent Orange. So Walt
yeah.
Anderson, and that's unfortunately that is true for so many people. And I know you say visit the VA
VA,
hospital,
yeah,
but
visit VA hospitals.
yeah, not too far from there is Arlington Cemetery, where a whole lot
Yeah,
of people are
but
laying
but
rest.
but here's the thing, and back to my profession. I'll never forget the time my mother said, uh, I told her I never want to be buried in my dress blues, and she says why? And I said because that means I'm still working. They've changed that now, but there is nothing more touching, more beautiful, more respectful than a military or public safety funeral. Am I right
Yeah.
or wrong?
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
agree.
I mean,
I
people. I
agree.
mean, when you look at that from the outside, it's like it's a,
Yeah.
and I'm, for
Yeah.
the lack of a better words, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. The
Yeah.
problem is you have to die to get it.
oh yeah,
So if life is about living, and living a quality of life. Just make sure that whatever it is, and some people, man, like I said, somebody's got to go and be a bomb tech, and somebody's got to go and get landmines, and all of those things are in play. All I'm saying is, man, you get one life to live it to its fullest, and hopefully you can do what you want to do, because most people don't get to do that. And if you're going to put your life on the line, just make sure that you're doing what you want to do. That's all I'm saying, man. Just, just make sure you're doing what you want to do. Don't be pressured into it. Don't look at the upside. If you don't want to do this on its worst day, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what? I can respect what you said. I appreciate what you said, and that'll be a good time to close, because we're over the hour mark. We're not way over, but we're over the hour mark. So I want to thank everybody that tuned in today for the Gentleman's Journal, part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. Thank Aqua Funk for being up on the panel today. Great insight. Walt talks as usual. Again, I'm Big Jack Storytime. We will see you next week. We got more. Some great guests coming in for the Iron Sharpening Iron show, and the Iron Sharpening Iron universe got all kinds of shows going on. So make sure you tune in. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, and please hit it. If you haven't hit the notification bell, hit that bell so you'll be notified when we having shows come through. But until next time, we're going to ask you to have a great week. We talk to you later. Ark, if you can hang back, Walt, we'll talk to y'all.
Absolutely.
Have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right.